You ever run a pistol so hard it begs for mercy, but just keeps chewing through ammo like nothing happened? Or maybe you've dropped a wheel gun in the mud, gave it one shake, and it still drilled bullseyes at 15 yards? That's the kind of guns we're talking about today. 6 firearms that flat out refuse to quit. Not safe queens, not Instagram props. These are the grinders, the brutes, the ones built to take abuse and keep throwing brass downrange. If you want reliability you can bet your life on, stick with me, because number 1 on this list is going to surprise you. Number 6. Glock 17. You want to see a sidearm that will not quit? That's the Glock 17. Back in 1982, when Gaston Glock brought this pistol to the market, a lot of people laughed. Plastic frame? That's a toy. 40 years later, nobody's laughing. Cops, military, and serious shooters worldwide still trust this pistol to save lives. A brand new Gen 5 Glock 17 runs around $539. That's a week's paycheck for a patrol officer. And for that price, you get a striker-fired handgun that eats dirt, swallows grime, and just keeps cycling. The beauty is in the simplicity. Cold hammer-forged 4.4 9-inch barrel, low-profile slide, only 34 internal parts, and every one of them is designed to do multiple jobs. That polymer frame flexes enough to tame recoil, but it laughs at sweat, rain, and harsh solvents. The safe action system, 3 passive safeties, 0 external levers to snag or break. Just draw, press, and fire. Torture tests have been brutal. Saltwater dunks, mud baths, 20,000-round endurance runs without lube. And this pistol shrugs it all off. There's even that case of a Gen 3 stuck in a police training barn for years. It got issued class after class, packed with grime like peanut butter. And when they finally opened it up, still ran flawlessly. That's Glock engineering. A wide feed ramp, loose enough tolerances to cycle steel case ammo all day, and the Gen 5's dual recoil spring to keep the slide smooth, even in cold, dirty, nasty conditions. Law enforcement trusts it because it works when officers forget to clean it. It works when the ammo is garbage. It works when seconds count. With its Tenefer-treated slide and absurd spring life, Glock recommends a new recoil spring every 5,000 rounds. Range guns prove it'll go past 20,000 with no problem. If you want flashy, look elsewhere. If you want a pistol that grins when you mistreat it, the Glock 17 is your partner. Load whatever 9mm you've got and don't look back. Number 5. Ruger P100. Now let's shift gears. You want raw strength? The Ruger P100 is a tank. This revolver doesn't care about your feelings. It's not delicate. It's not trying to win beauty contests. It was built to take punishment that makes semi-autos tap out. The current stainless 7-shots sit around $1,129, but smart buyers can grab the older 6-shot blued versions for $850 cash. Either way, you're holding over 40 ounces of double-action steel, chambered in .357 Magnum. Most revolvers lock the cylinder at 2 points. Ruger said, "Let's triple it. Front, rear, and bottom latch. That's why you can feed this thing hot 125-grain Magnum loads, day in, day out, without ever throwing the timing." The frame? One solid hunk of investment cast stainless steel. No side plate to flex, no weak spots to crack, nothing to rattle loose after years of recoil. Shooters have driven these revolvers to the limit. 35,000 rounds of Magnum hand loads, not target loads, heavy, lead nose, high-pressure rounds. And the P100? Still tight, still crisp. Cylinder gap unchanged. The chambers are overbuilt, thick enough to make a gunsmith grin. They're cut just deep enough past the rim to reinforce the head, so even sketchy reloads don't shake this gun apart. The barrel is screwed deep into the frame so it doesn't walk loose, and Ruger uses coil springs instead of flat springs. That matters, because coil springs compress around grit, while flat springs seize up. So when you drop this revolver in the sand during a drill, you shake it out, and it still runs. Truth is, this isn't just a revolver. It's a medieval weapon system. Someday an archaeologist could dig up a P100, wipe the sand off, and ask one question. Do we fire it, or do we build a shelter with it? Number 4, Romanian WASR-10. The Romanian WASR-10 is the AK that proves ugly guns still win fights. This is a 7.62 by 39mm AKM pattern rifle. Street price hovers right around $1,070. And yeah, it shows up with canted sights. The wood looks like it came off a crate. But the thing about the WASR, none of that matters. This rifle was never about pretty. It was about running every single time you press the trigger. The internals are built loose on purpose. The bolt and carrier ride with so much clearance that sand, snow, or mud can't lock it down. The long stroke piston is intentionally overgassed, which means even weak surplus ammo cycles with authority. The gas block actually vents part of that blast right back out, blowing crud out the system while it runs. The stamped 1mm receiver flexes just enough to absorb abuse. The rivets are exposed so water drains after jungle rain or swamp crawls. Field strip takes under 10 seconds. Pop the cover, recoil spring, bolt, and tube. Done. No small springs to chase in the dirt. And because the chamber and bore are chrome-lined, you can burn through old corrosive ammo, rinse it with a water bottle, wipe it down with motor oil, and it'll still run fine the next day. Now the mags, AK mags, are practically indestructible. Heavy steel feed lips, locking lugs, and a trunnion interface built like a crowbar. Soldiers have used these mags as shovels, smacked them back into the rifle, and kept shooting. Accuracy? About 4 minutes of angle. Not a precision rifle. But what you buy is reliability that borders on mythic. A WASR-10 will keep flinging 1-2-3 grain ball ammo long after your M4 has choked in the dust. Number 3. H&K VP9 Heckler and Koch stamped their reputation with the words, "No compromise." The VP9 is the pistol that proves they meant it, and for once, it comes in under $1,000. Street price usually sits around $700. Optics-ready versions with front cuts run about $780. It's a full-size 9mm 17-round striker-fired pistol, but the real secret is ergonomics. HK ships it with 9 different grip inserts, back straps, and side panels that let you dial in the fit like a custom job. Better fit means tighter control, less muzzle flip, and fewer malfunctions from limp wristing. The slide is milled from proprietary HK steel, topped with their hostile environment nitride finish. The barrel is polygonal, cold hammer forged. Rain, sweat, salt, it all beads off. Up front, you get a 4.09-inch barrel paired with a recoil system tuned for NATO spec ammo. That balance lets it run hot plus P defense loads, but it still cycles soft-range ammo without complaints. And those charging ears at the rear of the slide, they're game changers. With gloves, wet hands, or panic racking, you grab the wings and rip it. No short strokes, no fumbling. Critics point to early VP9s choking in water tests. HK fixed that years ago. Reworked striker geometry, stronger trigger bar spring, drainage cuts in the striker channel. Later production guns are rock solid. Trigger pull is 5.4 pounds, but it feels lighter. Clean break, short reset, and no grit. German police units have logged over 80,000 rounds through a single duty gun with no barrel swap. That's real service data, not a YouTube stunt. If you want a striker pistol that feels custom in the hand, shrugs off the elements, and keeps pounding after 20,000 rounds, the VP9 deserves a hard look. Smooth, reliable, and built to last. Number 2. SIG P226 MK25. When naval special warfare needs a sidearm, they don't flip through catalogs. They drown pistols in salt water, grind them in sand, and keep the ones that survive. The P226 MK25 is the civilian version of that SEAL pistol. Standard models list at $999. Legion optics-ready single-action versions climb to $1,300. It's a full-size alloy-framed 9mm with a reputation built in the 80s during the XM9 trials. Where others cracked, the P226 thrived. The slide is stainless with a nitron finish. The internals wear phosphate coatings. Even the magazine springs are treated. Drop it in seawater, pull it out, rack it, and it still runs. The lockup is pure SIG engineering. Precision cut lugs lock barrel to slide, distributing recoil across wide bearing surfaces. No weak cam points, just strong, consistent engagement every time. How tough? SEAL unit armorers have logged certain P226 over 3 million rounds with nothing more than routine barrel swaps every 25,000. That's not rumor. That's military maintenance records. The Mk-25 ships with the classic double-action, single-action system. Heavy first pull, crisp follow-ups. The Legion models shorten reset to 1/8 of an inch, erasing short-stroke trigger errors under stress. Ammo compatibility is excellent. Subsonic 147 grain suppressed loads. NATO 115 ball. Hollow points. It eats them all. Reports from Iraq tell stories of Mk-25s dropped in talcum fine dust, brushed off, and fired through full mags without issue. That's the definition of combat reliability. The SIG P226 Mk-25 isn't flashy. It isn't cheap. But if you want a handgun engineered for ocean salt, desert grit, and the ugliest day of your life, it belongs on your belt. Number 1. C to Z 75S to P. 01C to Z didn't design this pistol to win style contests. They built it in Brno, Czech Republic, as a pure fighting handgun. And the S, P01, has earned a reputation as one of the toughest, most reliable steel frame 9mm ever made. Here's the breakdown. MSRP sits around $949. Street price, usually closer to $800, if you can even catch one in stock. What you're buying is a full steel frame, a 4.6-inch cold hammer forged barrel, and a slide that rides on internal rails for a lockup that feels like a bank vault. Capacity is 18 rounds. Weight is 46.5 ounces. And every ounce is doing work for you. Competition shooters swear by it. That extra weight out front, especially the full-length dust cover, eats recoil like a sponge. Muzzle rise is almost non-existent. Your sights stay locked on target, like they're glued in place. It's a gun that shoots flat, runs hard, and keeps on trucking. But it's not just soft shooting. It's built for endurance. One long-term test ran an S, P01 through 50,000 rounds over 5 years. Mostly hand-loaded 9mm tuned for power factor. The only failures? A broken slide stop at 50,000 and a firing pin retaining pin. That's it. Rails stayed tight. Barrel fit was still solid. Bore was still sharp. That's the payoff of an internal rail design. It spreads recoil across more surface area instead of hammering one weak spot like you see in lighter aluminum guns. Feeding? It's a Browning tilt barrel setup with a slick feed ramp. It eats everything. Flat nose lead, hollow points, truncated cones, you name it. Mag bodies are all steel, built tough enough to survive asphalt drops without bending feed lips. And if you want to push the trigger into competition territory, Cajun Gunworks has kits that bring double action down around 4.5 pounds, single action to a crisp 2.5. Still keeps reliable ignition thanks to a longer firing pin and tuned spring. This pistol doesn't care about lube schedules. You can run it dirty, run it dry, or go through a 3-day match with nothing but a quick oil wipe in the morning. That polycoat finish laughs off sweat, rain, and dust. And with a 16-pound recoil spring paired to that low-bore axis, the gun stays stable and flat, even when the round count climbs. Bottom line, this is not plastic, it's not trendy, and it's not light. But if you want a sidearm that can eat pallets of ammo, shrug off neglect, and only ask for a new slide stop once in a blue moon, the CZ75 SP01 is the definition of reliable steel. Conclusion. So there it is. 6 firearms that don't quit even when you do. These aren't safe queens. They're rifles, shotguns, and pistols that have been dragged through trenches, issued to cops, carried by soldiers, and trusted by folks who can't afford a malfunction. From steel frame classics to polymer workhorses, every one of these guns proves a simple truth. Reliability isn't optional. It's everything. Now I want to hear from you. What's the most reliable firearm you own? Did it make this list, or is there a sleeper out there we should cover in the future? Drop your stories in the comments. We read them all, and the best ones might show up in a future video. If you got value out of this breakdown, hit that like button, share it with your crew at the range, and make sure you subscribe for more straight shooting reviews, tactical deep dives, and gear talk every single week. Until next time, keep your magazines loaded, your bores clean, and your zero locked in. This is Gun Fanatics, where reliability isn't rare, It's required.